let's see when the last top 10 countdown I did was. Ooh, shit. Yeah, gonna need to do a new one. They say that behind every great man is a great woman. In video games, this is no different. Seeing a female as the main protagonist rather than a damsel in distress was pretty uncommon in the video games until around the late 90s with games like Tomb Raider and Dead or Alive. Now, let me be very clear on this topic. This is not the hottest women in video games. This is going to be best overall women, though design will be taken into account, not their hotness or sex appeal alone. And as an added bonus, joining me on this countdown is Game Bro's very own Riyoko Drakena.
Now, keep in mind that not all of these women are going to be the main character of their video games, though being the main protagonist or having a large part in the game will definitely outrank a simple side character. So now for the rules. Only one female per game series, and females from games that Crow has played can be on this list. And, oh, just as a fair warning, there might be a few spoilers for some games, so you've been warned. No whining.
Also, I know this is going to be somewhat of a touchy subject, but I'd rather go ahead and get this out of the way. These characters have to be strictly female and are clearly identified as female, so no transgender characters. Trust me, I don't have anything against transgenders, but this is for females only.
Oh my god! Difference of opinion, what do I do? How about you just say, I kinda see it a different way, and leave it at that.
This is Crow Murder 15's Top 10 Women in Video Games.
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
In the world of Overwatch, there are a ton of awesome women to pick from, and even though Crow's main is Pharah, we're going with the poster girl of Overwatch herself, Tracer. Tracer was the youngest member of the Overwatch flight program and attempted to pilot the first time-traveling spaceship. A horrible accident occurred, and now she must wear a chronal accelerator to stay anchored in time. Think of her as a time-traveling Amelia Earhart mixed with Tony Stark. Pretty badass, right? She's the lowest on this list because while she might be courageous, she's a bit of a glass cannon when it comes to combat. However, she does get a few bonus points for having a pretty cute girlfriend.
You're not giving me the point because I'm gay? That's it. I'm Tumblr shading you!
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
When Street Fighter II was first released, there was only one female character in the entire game, and even though the franchise has added many more in the sequels, Chun-Li still stands out above the rest. Chun-Li is a law enforcement agent that lost her father at the hands of M. Bison.
Of course!
Oh god, not this joke again! Determined to bring M. Bison down, she helps to protect the people with a special interest in helping children, as she sees them to be our world's future. She even takes it upon herself to teach children her style of martial arts, so they can defend themselves. And let's not forget the most recognizable feature, her amazing leg kicks. I don't think anyone would be able to keep up with those kicks. Well, I stand corrected.
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
It's not uncommon to see a female in a horror movie or video game, but normally they're the ones running away from the killer. However, Jill Valentine was one of the first to be the heroine in a horror-style video game. Sure, you could play as Chris Redfield, but it was pretty cool seeing a woman fighting back against zombies, dogs, giant spiders, giant snakes, and much more. She's battled against the Tyrant, fought off Nemesis by herself, and even survived being mind-controlled by Wesker. With a little help from Chris and Sheva, but I digress. And without Jill, we wouldn't have other amazing women in the Resident Evil franchise like Claire Redfield and Ada Wong. Still wouldn't mind getting that Jill sandwich recipe, though.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
Is it cheating on a top 10 countdown if the female happens to be an AI with a female persona?
Maybe?
Ah, screw it. My list, my rules. Cortana is literally the heart and soul of some of the most important parts of the Halo series. Scanned from the brain of Dr. Catherine Halsey, Cortana is Master Chief's right-hand woman. Or head woman, however you want to look at it. She's able to hack into computers, come up with battle strategies on the fly, and later in her lifespan able to even duplicate herself. However, later towards Halo 4, she's not doing so well. In the Halo universe, an AI's lifespan is only supposed to last about 7 years. And this starts to deteriorate around the time of Halo 3. And let's not forget her finally meeting Master Chief face to face at the end of Halo 4.
It was my job to take care of you.
We were supposed to take care of each other. And we did.
Dude, are you crying?
No! Shut up!
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
Now, princesses in video games are usually the damsel in distress types. Zelda is one of these exceptions. Now, not only does she command an army of soldiers, but she doesn't mind getting in the fray herself. However, we're taking a look at a different princess from this series, Midna. At first glance, Midna might not seem like much, but she's very skilled in dark magic, able to create portals for fast transport, and when not in the Twilight Realm, can hide in Link's shadow so she's not damaged. Plus, the main reason she's on this list instead of Zelda is her personality. Her snarky commentary to Link when they first meet is hilarious. Plus, how many other women can say that they've ridden Link? I know I want to.
Ryoko!
What? Just saying!
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
Okay, this one is going to be a bit complicated, so bear with me. At first, GLaDOS may seem just like your typical machine that wants to destroy humanity. But she was indeed a living, breathing human named Carolyn, Cave Johnson's right-hand woman and assistant. When Cave Johnson became poisoned by one of his tests, he assigned Carolyn to become the head of Aperture Science and put her into a computer to preserve her. But once she was in that robotic form, let's just say she went a bit... Go, Bobs! She's extremely intelligent, a master manipulator, and, well, wants a potato.
Oh, hi. So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
Crow? I know you're not the smartest in the world, but why would you put a little girl in a top 10 women in video games list?
Okay, how many other little girls do you know that survived the zombie apocalypse?
Fair point. Like Midna, Clementine may not seem like much at first glance. However, once Lee found her, he toughened her up to survive the hordes of the undead. And at the end of the first game, things weren't looking so good for Lee, leaving Clementine with the first many hard decisions she'd have to make in her life. During The Walking Dead Season 2, you can see that her training with Lee had started to pay off, learning how to patch yourself up in a scrape, firearms training, stealth, and even negotiation skills. Even though they don't matter that much, since Telltale's apparently wants to make everyone but you an asshole. Though Crow hasn't played Season 3 of The Walking Dead and has only seen a few videos, it seems that Clementine has started to grow colder as she grew older. Guess that's what happens when you're raised in the age of zombies.
I don't know you, I don't trust you, and I'm not taking any chances.
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
Out of all the females in the Borderlands series, only one comes to mind.
All around the stacks plants, the stalker chased the bandit. The stalker thought 'twas all in fun. Pop! Goes the bandit. Oh, hi!
What? Another little girl? I thought this was top 10 women in video games.
Now hang on, hear me out. Tiny Tina is the world's deadliest 11-year-old with a high intelligence in explosions. When Handsome Jack had her parents kidnapped and tested on, she vowed to seek revenge on Jack. She joined the Vault Hunters to help with their missions, usually providing rockets, bombs, some sort of explosions. On the surface, she may seem like a cheery, overexcited little girl, but deep down there's a depression that's been eating away at her since Roland's death, and it's later explored in the Assault on Dragon's Keep DLC. Imagine going through all of this just at the age of 11. Hell, I remember the hardest thing for me was choosing what type of cookies I wanted.
I just wanted chocolate chip cookies! Why do bad things happen to good people?
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
Some of you might be surprised that Lara Croft isn't number 1. Trust us, it was a very close call. And before we get started on this section, we're looking at all the different aspects of Lara Croft through the different gaming eras. Think of Lara as the female equivalent to Indiana Jones. She's been trained in exploration, hand-to-hand combat, firearms, flying, horseback riding, archery, you name it. Of course, this was first era Lara Croft. In the newer generation games, you actually get to play out her development as a Tomb Raider, crafting her skills, learning how to survive, and relying on her instincts. I mean, for God's sake, she was absolutely terrified the first time she had to kill someone. But with determination, courage, and the will to never give up, she would eventually become the Tomb Raider we all know and love. Plus, we all know those gamer boys wanted to see her in the nude when she first came on the scene.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
Or you don't send a man to do a woman's job.
There is only one word to describe Samus Aran. Badass.
That's 2 words.
Shut up. As a galactic bounty hunter, Samus had seen her fair share of conflict throughout the universe. When she was only a little girl, she was adopted by a race known as the Chozo, was infused with their DNA, and trained to become a warrior. This is also where she received her infamous power suit, able to fuse with her mind, body, and spirit. Afterwards, she enlisted under the Federation Police to further her training. After leaving the police force, she became an intergalactic bounty hunter and has saved the universe on more than one occasion. From exterminating the aliens known as Metroids to fighting her rival Ridley countless times, this woman knows no fear. Well, except for having flashbacks of Mother Brain from time to time. She's headstrong, leaps straight into battle, and holds nothing back. And that's why Samus Aran is my number 1 woman in video games. I'm Crow of Murder 15.
And I'm Riyoko Drakena.
And if you excuse me, I'm gonna go try to beat Super Metroid under 3 hours so I can see Samus in a skimpy outfit.
You perv, that's what the internet's for.
Why you think the neck was born?